Sharks with Lipstick by Hinemura Ellison and Ted Hughes. Part 1. The weekend begins and ends with a twist, but business as usual. Prologue. With blood dripping from a nasty gash across her forehead, the woman slips in and out of consciousness as images flash through her mind. She can see them as vivid as life, and she asks herself, is this series of events what you see before or after death? Or am I already dead? Horrified at what she sees and hears, the fear of rejection, along with disappointment, surges through her. The poor woman cannot bear the flash of lights mixing in with the loud and disturbing voices. Screaming into her vision come people from her life, previous school principals, classmates, friends, colleagues, bosses, past and present, even her shrink. It is too much for her, and she blacks out, hitting her head severely against the toilet cubicle door, slamming it shut when someone tries to push it open. She comes to again. The voices in her head become raucous, slipping from her subconsciousness with a force that abruptly startles her awake. Her head throbbing, she tries to stand, but is now far too weak. She surrenders to her exhaustion and sits back on the toilet, swaying in time with the gentle rocking of the train. It is almost soothing to just go with the flow, the slow, repetitive motion of the train sending her back into a stupor. She sees a flash of faces, and not one of them has anything nice to say. They all blur into one before a couple of them stand out as if they were the passed-over souls who appear at psychic readings, raising their voices above the others queuing up, clamouring to get their message across to their loved ones still residing on earth. She recognises the face of Nigel and hears him spit out, "I've never met such a nasty piece of work before. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're meant to be using your position to empower women, to encourage their voices to be heard. Instead, you suppress them and you deflate them. I feel sorry for your children, if you have any. Or perhaps your mother." His voice peters out, and the next one promptly comes in. Carmen flashes into her mind. How could you take advantage of people's weaknesses and exploit them the way you have? Why did you bother with that engagement survey and oversell it to everyone, spouting that all answers would be treated with utmost discretion and confidence, and then crucify those who gave you constructive feedback by performance managing them out of their roles? It's like a death by PowerPoint slideshow, with images that just keep playing over and over in her mind. Stephanie appears, but louder, more confident and articulate than in real life. "I was here to help you. I accepted you were the better person for the role, and I stepped down graciously, only to be humiliated by your cruel words of, how could I have ever thought I was a worthy enough contender for the HR director role, let alone someone's ideal partner." Bernard's voice booms out over Stephanie's with the words and tone of a former school principal. "I'm sorry, I can no longer support you. I understand you've been going through a tough time, but I must take into consideration the safety and well-being of everyone else here. You just can't treat people this way. I'd hoped for better. I'm so disappointed." Other faces appear, all with a similar theme. The woman says to herself, "Oh my God, what is the point?" Chris is worst of all, laughing out loud like a demon possessed, pointing his finger in her face and smiling like the cat that had just scored the cream. "I told you your day would come. You were wrong. We are not peas in a pod. We may have been brought up on the same side of the tracks, but unlike you, I'm not all smoke and mirrors. You are about as real as your fake